Yep, I'm touching booty in public.
Wait, you touching booty in public?
Yep, yours.
Oh, okay.
What's good?
This is El Raquel, and today I am responding to a viewer by the name of Quay who asked me to do a family Q&A. So he said he wants questions answered from me, and I thought I would bring the hubby on, but he wants questions answered like, how many kids do we have? What's our family hobbies? And family traditions and things of that nature. So we thought, ooh, let's get more people involved. So we put it out there to our Facebook and social media community, and they gave us some more awesome questions for you guys. All right, so how many kids do we have? How many kids do we have? This is Mr. T, by the way. I affectionately call my husband Mr. T. Mr. T, how many kids do we have?
4.
We have 4 kids. I had one daughter when I was a teenager before I met Mr. T. And then we got married and we had 3 more. And all of them is grown. Or at least think they is. Family hobbies.
Family hobbies.
What do we do for family hobbies?
Normally what? Pizza and movie nights?
Yeah, we're just such exciting people. Pizza movie nights. But when the kids were smaller for hobbies, yeah, we pretty much did that too.
I mean, the boys would always be like gaming.
Gaming, yeah.
Gaming.
Yeah, and so even now, our oldest son, the 2 of them are gamers. You might hear it in the background.
Yeah, I'm pretty much retired.
And you're retired?
Yeah.
Okay. So now that the kids have all grown up, me and Mr. T take more time for dating. Because when the kids were younger and growing up, we really put all our funds
And focus on the kids.
and focus on the kids. So now that they're up and out of there, we're dating now. Because we didn't get to date before we got married much. You know, in the hood, you don't really date. You just go with somebody. Like, I go with him. And, we didn't really date. We just went together and then we got married.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
That's how you do it. And so we didn't get to date. So now we're actually dating. So that's our new hobby. Okay. And family traditions. Family traditions.
Normally what? Tree trimming.
Tree trimming at the holiday. We always threw the kids big birthday parties when they were growing up.
Yeah. I can't think of
Which I think is something that neither one of us had growing up.
Oh, no, I never had a birthday party.
Never. I mean, I want you to reiterate that to these people.
Yeah, I never had a birthday party.
Not even one time. Why do you think you never had a birthday party growing up?
I mean, I'm not even sure. Based on, probably coming from the South. And how we was raised, because it was 11 of us.
Yeah.
So.
It's not just that you were in the South, but there were so many of you.
Yeah, it was 11 of us, so.
It was a party every day anyway.
You always got wished a happy birthday, on the birthday. So that was good enough for me. That's why, now, I don't put too much emphasis on birthday parties.
Or birthdays.
Her birthday. I'm just thankful for another day. I get to see another day. So we got Eleanor. Her question was, how has your marriage changed from the day you guys said I do up until now?
Who's going to answer that first?
I'm going to let you go. Ladies first.
We've already been married 21 years. Wow. Yeah, because I was 21 when we got married, and you were
That's 22.
And you were 22.
Yeah, I was 22.
Yeah. How has your marriage changed from the day you guys said I do up until now? Ooh. Immensely. I don't even know how much I can say. My gosh. Okay, so when we first got married, like, I never had an example of marriage in front of me in my house. Like, my mother who adopted me, she was a widow. So, you know, her husband had passed. There was no man in the house. And so far as dating, she had a philosophy, and I talk about this in my book, Cupcakes and Poetry, 7 Life Lessons. You like, had to plug that in there.
Yeah, that marketing.
Had to plug that in.
The marketing.
But I do talk about that in my book, how, and this is no shade to my mother, because my mother's actually 90s and she'll be 91 in a couple days. So this is no shade to Annie Oakley. That's what we call her. She the original Medea. Look up Annie Oakley. You know, she just had this philosophy of, don't let no ninja run over you. Don't let no ninja run over you. Y'all know what I mean? So I kind of came into marriage with that type of philosophy, like, king? Oh no, you ain't my king, because you ain't gonna tell me what to do. So I'm just gonna speak on my part, my end of it. So how I changed in the marriage. So that was my philosophy for years upon years. When they say love is long suffering, that was my philosophy for years upon years upon years with Mr. T. And then it wasn't until, honestly, when we learned, and well, I would say when I learned that Jesus said love is the number one, love others as you love yourself is the number one commandment and trumps everything. Because I used to be very studious at trying to follow the rules and make sure everyone else was from the Bible. And then when I learned that trumped everything. So it didn't matter how many rules you were following. It didn't matter how much you went to Sunday, Wednesday service and every extra service they had. It didn't matter that you were married and your friend wasn't married and living in sin. If you weren't loving people, that you just was out of order and you weren't doing what Jesus wanted you to do. And so it wasn't until I really understood that concept, and it starts at home. You know, we be so nice to the people outside of home, and so mean, and so mean to the people inside though. It was like, now it's night and day. I mean, we still have work to do, and every now and then I have slip ups, and we'll have work to until we get to heaven. But now it's like, I think more about being what the Bible says, submit one to the other. Because before I would not submit, because I looked at that as, you know, so contrary to the philosophy I was taught by my mother. That's, what'd you say, Terry?
Yeah, can't have two bosses running around.
Can't have two bosses. The Bible say a house divided cannot stand. And our house was in complete disorder and disarray. So, you know, it wasn't until we lost some things that were very valuable to us, which I do talk about that in my book, Cupcakes and Poetry, 7 Life Lessons, which I'll put in the description. But we lost some things that were so valuable to us that I couldn't do anything but reassess myself. And so that's been within what, the last 5, what would you say, 4? About 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years, and our marriage turned. And I mean, we used to go visit our pastor, because we had one pastor, that one church we were going to for like 13 years, and he would have us in for counseling, and he would try to get us to treat each other the way we were supposed to, and nothing would ever stick. And it wasn't until we really got the firm understanding of love being trumping everything, and you know, that things began to shift, and then we were more concerned with pleasing the other than getting ourselves pleased. And so that's the big difference today. And I definitely have more respect for my husband than I did then. Like I'm not perfect. You say,
Yeah.
but I definitely have. Because before I used to have no holds barred, no boundaries. Yep. So I guess I gave a long in depth. So what would you say, Terry? How has our marriage changed from the day we said I do up until now?
Today we said it now. Because, like you had the honeymoon phase.
Right.
And then you went from that to, okay, what phase was that? Oh, everything is my fault. My fault for everything.
Or your fault.
Oh, yeah, your fault.
You're saying who?
Me.
Oh, that's how you felt.
That's how I felt. Like everything was my fault.
You felt it was your fault or my fault?
It was my fault. That's all you always. It was everything was put to like, if anything goes wrong, I was to blame.
Oh, okay.
No matter what it was. Like, how like that thing is like, if we ran out of this, it's your fault because you didn't buy enough.
Okay.
Or, what else? Or this didn't get done because you didn't care enough.
It's getting hot in here. so I'm really...
You get nervous.
I think we should turn off the heater.
Yeah. So, I mean... But, like she said, like... Over the years, it was to a point that, like... From then until now, like... It was a point where we, like,
I'm
actually...
serious.
You have this thing, you love to hate each other. You love I love her, but I hate her at the same time, and vice versa. So that's where that's at certain parts it had got to that.
That's a good way to say how it used to be.
Yeah.
Like, how am I gonna piss you off today?
Yeah. I mean, it took. It's still a work in progress, and like you were saying, like the building, and like another thing that like helped me was like unforgiveness. Like, realizing that, like, any kind of unforgiveness, like, would, like, leave you stuck. So no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, you still gonna be stuck until you, like, just say, I'm gonna make up my mind just to forgive you and just, like, let that stuff go. And like you said, when I did that, like, everything changed. The respect for each other, because
we all gotta be forgiven.
Yeah.
We all hurt other people,
Yeah.
even if we don't mean to.
Yeah. So that and communication, like instead of like just fighting them, like try to like work problems out, talk back and forth. If I don't agree with you, instead of shutting down, I explain, give my opinion on why I feel this way and so on. Mm-hmm. So that's how it is now that, at this point, we love and respect each other. And like, we're best friends now. Yeah. Compared to then.
Instead of loving to hate you. And we go with a lot more places because I'm more extroverted and you're more. Would you say you're more introverted?
And I'm more chill at home.
Okay. You don't like those labels?
Yeah, we'll call it chill at home.
But now we go out all the time now, right?
Yeah, more so.
So that's definitely different. And do you think I treat you more like a king?
Yeah. And I treat you like a queen, don't I?
Aww. Okay. Londa wants to know, what are you and Mr. T's love languages?
I could love languages. Because, love
because I mean, there's a book about love language. I remember we talked about it in a marriage seminar once, but I don't remember what all the love languages were.
I mean, people, you got different love. Like some people like what is it? Like
seriously,
communication. Like some people like to be talked to a certain way. Like more like loving and compliments and so forth. Some people like that. Some people like to be touched.
Yeah.
And held. See, I like to be held.
Yeah, you do.
And touched. And touchy.
And you like to touch.
Yeah. I'm like
in public.
Yep. Touchy feely. Yep. I'm touching booty in public.
Wait, you touching booty in public?
Yep, yours.
Oh, okay. So your love language is touch.
Yep.
Mine is definitely communication. Talk to me, baby.
Yep.
Deandra says, when you met Mr. T for the first time, what was your reaction? And then these two questions are along the same vein. Eleanor also wants to know, how did you and Mr. T meet? So let me give that story.
Yeah, get that story. It's funny.
It is okay. So, is it funny? Some
Kinda.
parts of it are funny,
Yeah,
and some parts are kind of dramatic. Let's see. The way I met Mr. T.
Well,
So
you gotta do all the dramatic part.
don't do the dramatic part.
No,
Okay.
but just
He said we don't know y'all good enough to tell the drama part yet.
yeah.
Maybe when we get to know y'all better.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so my best friend, Susie Q. My best friend and I were living in an apartment, and she was walking to a gas station, and she met this boy named D. And so D came over and visited with her. We were young. Like back then, we must have been like 20. And because we were only, we only went out, or boyfriend and girlfriend, for a year, and we got married. So she met D. D came over and, saw that she had, me, her homegirl. And he's like, oh, I've got a cousin who's here with me who lives with us from down south. I bet he would love to meet your friend. So he brought his cousin over to meet me, which was Mr. T. Now, when Mr. T came to meet me, Mr. T was getting off of work. He worked at like a late diner dive, huh?
Yeah, like a restaurant.
A restaurant. It was like a late diner dive. And I had these braids in my hair. Back then, like the Poetic Justice box braids. And I had just had them taken out. And so, literally freshly they were taken out. So it looked like, my hair looked like cats had been sucking on it. Like it was just all over. It was like an afro. It was just like all over. But not a cute afro, okay? Because it was crazy. And so then Mr. T, I'm thinking, you tell me, I'm thinking that your cousin D, because his cousin D was like one of them young dudes like with a lot of swag, you know what I'm saying? This dude had bifocals that he hid from us for like a year. So I'm thinking that he must have told Mr. T, don't wear your glasses when you meet this girl. Did he tell you that?
Probably. Or I probably said, nah, but no. Yeah.
Or you think you did. I don't know. But all I know is, so we were in this apartment, and me and my best friend Susie Q were told that I was going to meet Mr. T when he got off of work. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to meet Mr. T. So we're in this like upstairs apartment, and we're looking down. Mr. T's in the parking lot. He's getting ready to come up to meet me. He doesn't have on any glasses, so he's squinting, right? So he's squinting. So when I met him, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're high. I thought he was high on that good stuff or something. I thought he was on that weed. But he wasn't high. He didn't even do drugs. He just was squinting because he couldn't see. So that's how we met. So shout out to Susie Q and D for hooking us up. And after 21 years, we still together. But the other part of the question was, when you met Mr. T for the first time, what was your reaction? Well, I guess that answered it. I thought it was high at first. But then, as I talked to him, he was so different. He struck me as so different. Because growing up, like I said earlier, I already had a daughter from being a teenager, before I met him. So I grew up in a really bad neighborhood where there's a lot of drug dealers and, a lot of dudes who went in and out of jail, in and out of prison, sold drugs, had multiple kids by multiple different women, didn't ever have a job. So when I met Mr. T, he didn't curse around me. He had a job. He didn't have any kids, and he had never been to jail. This was a unicorn to me. This was a phenomenon. So I was like, wow. So then I prayed. I was like, God, please let him fall in love with me. And he did. God answered prayers, y'all. So that was my reaction. I want to put that question to you too, even though Andrea didn't ask it to you. So what was your reaction when you met me for the first time? Could you tell my hair looked like cats had been sucking on, or because you had your glasses on, you ain't know?
I didn't know because I had the glasses on. No, not until I got like closer. You know how like when you're nearsighted, you got to get real close.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then after the first, you know what I'm saying? I said, oh my God, she's pretty.
Oh, that's what you thought?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Hey,
we lost our questions.
Okay, now where we're in. My reaction. Yeah, I thought you was pretty. You know, so I'm like, oh man, I hope she likes me.
You never told me that.
Oh, I just keep it to myself. For now, I hope she likes me. And then, sure enough, she liked me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, now we stuck together like glue.
Okay, Jerry has a couple questions. Well, we'll start with one. You do one and I'll do one.
Has God revealed a divine purpose for the two of you?
Are you asking me first?
Yes, you can understand.
Has God revealed, and Jerry is a minister, by the way. Jerry says, has God revealed a divine purpose for the two of us? I don't know if she means us as a couple, but I am in that way of thinking, I am starting to see where we are an example to other married couples. Not saying we're perfect or anything like that, but I'm seeing where once we moved here down south, we are an example to other couples of, you know, God has turned our whole marriage around to where it's the difference between being married and being happily married. You know, not that we're always perfect and we always are working towards better, but it's just a big difference between being married and being happily married. And so, you know, I believe that's one of the purposes in our marriage is us showing others that you can be happily married. But individually, I know God did give me a divine purpose, and it was when I was back home, and my pastor back home, Pastor Tariq, he told us to pray for our assignments, because a lot of times in grace and faith-based churches, a lot of times we'll say, you know, we're believing God for the more, we're believing for to be millionaires, money cometh, and all these different sayings. But if it's for selfish reasons, and you don't have an assignment, you don't have a need for that amount of money. And he helped me to understand that. He said, you need to go home and ask God, what is your assignment? You know, you may have more than one during different seasons and parts of your life. So I went home and I prayed and I asked God to show me what my assignment was. He revealed it to me in a dream. And I don't want to take up too much time with it, but he did show me that my assignment was to get HIV/AIDS medication to Africa. And so I began praying for HIV/AIDS, and I haven't done that in a while, but all last year, was it last year? No, the year before last, back in 2016, I prayed a whole year for HIV/AIDS almost every day, live at 5. I went on Periscope. We prayed for HIV/AIDS medications in Africa. I met some Africans, some actual mission. I'm friends with them still now. Some actual missionaries came in. People with AIDS came into the Periscopes. We were praying because I began developing a heart for it, and I really got to bring things to my memory right now to say, but like I developed a heart for it because I didn't know anybody personally who suffered from AIDS, so I had to develop a heart for that, and I developed a heart for it. And I started researching, like how I would research something that I was passionate about. I began to research AIDS medications as someone who was passionate about it. And I found out that Dr. Anthony Fauci was the, main person in the U.S. over, the development of AIDS drugs, and that there was actually a preventative AIDS medication, and it wasn't being given to the highest concentration of people who were suffering from HIV, which was the continent of Africa, as well as African American communities in the U.S. And I actually did a video on that, and I'll put a link for that for you guys can watch the video. I got all the statistics on that, and I did it in an interesting way, so it's not too boringly statistically done. But anywho, I did that, and I found out that there was a preventative med, and it wasn't, because of monies, it wasn't being released to where it was needed the most. And so we began to, me and others who came into the prayer scope, we began to pray over the missionaries in the field and pray that the money will be released for the medications and the preventative medications. And several countries in the continent of Africa have now released those medications. And I don't believe it was by luck or by chance. I believe it was directly to us speaking it into existence. And like I said, we did this over a year. And my obedience to God brought me, this is what the Lord has put on my heart to say, is my obedience to God brought me a reward. Because for years I had a brother, because I was adopted, and from my biological mother there's 4 of us, but we had one sibling that the three other siblings, we could not find our 4th sibling. And once I was obedient to God, he found us. And I with everything in me believe it was because I was obedient in that assignment. So yeah, that was my assignment. And I have others, that'll be in different seasons.
I don't know, I'm top that one.
You have to top it.
No, my purpose is basically like to support you.
Really?
Yeah, that's.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's my purpose.
To support all the stuff that God gives me to do.
Right. And get you,
It's a big man that can say that. Like Joyce Meyer's husband.
Yeah, and so once you get situated where you're at there, I'll just focus on my dreams or purpose he gave me. Team us. Riding the bus. Next one.
Okay, Jerry wants to know, how are you two adjusting to moving to the South? Well, Mr. T doesn't have to adjust too much because he's from the South. Because we moved from up north after we got married here. We actually got married here in Bama when we were really young, and then I wasn't adjusting to it too well back then. So we ended up moving back to up north because I was pregnant with our son, our oldest son, and I was born with a heart defect, and I was just kind of nervous not being with my own doctors, and so we ended up moving back up north. And so after being married for over 20 years, we decided to come back to the South where he's from, but in the city, because he was actually raised like in the rural area. And I've adjusted in the country.
Yeah, just gonna say in the country.
In the country. I was trying to be proper, but yeah.
Nope, in the country.
In the deep, yeah. So I've adjusted. I mean, I like the city that I'm in. There's T-Town. I'll go ahead and say T-Town, and there's a lot of it's a good economy. And I've met some great people. I'm a member of Toastmasters here. I've met some great people in Toastmasters. We've met some great church family, and I'm in a play right now. So I'm doing a lot of the gifts that God gave me. I feel like there's more there's just more availability. Is that the word I'm looking for me to live out the gifts? And this is what my husband wanted to do, and I supported him in doing it, so I know God's gonna bless it.
That was good. Oh, you telling me how I adjusted?
Yeah.
My thing is what? The driving. It's like the people when they're driving. It's crazy. It's crazy. That's the biggest adjustment, like the driving. Because it's like people would just like run red lights. Like, not just one car, but like 3 cars will just like run behind each other when the red lights. You got cars turning from the opposite lane.
You think it's this is a bigger city than where we're from, or just
No, it's just people just drive crazy.
in Bama?
No, they're just crazy driving.
Okay.
Then you got people that will pass 3 or 4 cars with oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy. And then you got people that just like walking the street. That's my biggest adjustment.
Is the driving.
Yeah.
I hear you, babe.
Okay, Jerry asks, how do you support each other during difficult times? So I'm gonna start that one.
Sure.
What I say, like a pat in the back, say, "Oh, there."
That's how you support me during difficult times.
There, give you a hug and say, "Oh, there you go, baby." But more so it's like consoling, and then just like try to do my best to like comfort, like based on the situation.
Yeah.
I was giving like encouraging words and encouraging gestures to try to make you feel better.
That's true. We've got some people who really go deep on these questions, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. And during difficult times, I do pray for you sometimes during a difficult time, like when you don't like something at your job or something.
Oh.
Yeah, and we just cling together during difficult times. I know that. Like when we've had some of the roughest times we've had.
Oh yeah.
And we just realized that we are together. You know what I mean? Like nothing's gonna separate us in a difficult time. Everything else is gonna fall, but we gonna still be standing. Whatever's coming against us is not gonna tear us apart.
Word.
Yeah.
Word.
Karen wants to know, how do you guys keep the fire going? I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like the older I've gotten, I'm less what do you call them women that are just like stuck up and
Snobs.
yeah, but I mean, I'm sexually repressed. I'm not sexually repressed. Yeah, like when you think of somebody that's stuck up, they're like,
No.
yes, they're sexually repressed, babe.
Oh.
Them people also are sexually repressed. You know what I mean? Like, ew, I wouldn't do that. We only do it missionary.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, I mean, when she said fire, I equated it to sex. Was that what you... So, I'm saying, I don't know, for some reason, the older I've gotten, you know what? I'm going to tell you, for me, on my end, I listen to songs, too, that about sex. Should I not say that? Are you smirking at me?
I'm just...
I do. Because, I do. I listen to songs about sex. And instead of us having slow grind songs like Quay Sweat, I like to listen to upbeat songs to keep it going. The fuck?
Keep it going. You be feeling on that booty. That's how you keep it going.
You feel on the booty. That's how you keep the fire going.
Keep it going. Every now and get a feel.
Yeah, and then what I'm saying is, stop, Terry. So what I'm saying is, just, change it up. Just change it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, not missionary all the time. And maybe change the music pitch and, what do you call that? When it go,
Tempo.
Tempo. Just change the tempo up. And yeah. And then, you know what, appreciating each other more, you know, on a serious note, appreciating each other more, appreciating the fact that my husband works hard and stuff like that. It makes me want to keep the fires going.
Eleanor wants to know, was it love at first sight, or did we grow to love each other? Let's see. It was a little bit of both.
I agree.
Yeah, we grew to love each other. Because at one point, like I said earlier, we loved and hated each other.
But she's saying first sight.
Yeah.
We only love to hate each other after the honeymoon phase.
Well, how did you say, did y'all grow to love each other? Or did you grow to love
Or was
each
it
other?
love at first sight?
Or did you grow? So that means, okay, was it like, automatic, I love you so much?
I think it was, I'm
without
going to be
you.
honest. When we first met, neither one of us was saved. We had grew up in church, but we had not accepted Jesus Christ as our personal Savior. So, in my opinion, it was lust at first sight. And at first.
So you got all churchy on me.
So I think it was lust at first sight. And then, I'm going to be honest, I loved you with an emotional love, but I really did not know how to love somebody. And it took a long time to know how to really, other than the kids, it took a long time for me to know how to put your needs ahead of my own and not be a brat, I'll just say.
Oh.
And not be a brat. So love with action. I don't mean that, you have that emotional love where I love him and that's my man or whatever, but to know how to do love with action, which means sometimes I may not get what I want, but or I'm gonna consider your needs over mine. That's real love.
So unconditional love.
Yeah, and it took me a long time to learn that kind of love.
Right. So basically, you're saying like conditional love. You only love me on conditions.
And we grew up. Don't you think we kind of grew up together? Kind of. You think? We didn't make it like it was just me now. They're like, dang, she will.
Yeah, she was rough, man. She was rough.
Okay, and we have another question. It says, what do you guys do for family fun? And how do you guys plan to spend the holidays?
Family fun. What do we do for family fun? I know now we go shopping for stuff.
Shopping, babe.
Yeah, we go shopping. I go shopping with you.
You gotta realize, my husband, he comes from a background of they didn't go anywhere. Like,
yeah, I still like I said, like
growing up.
Even when I moved up north, like shopping was like only time I really wanted to go shopping was just like what, school time when the kids had to get clothes.
Yeah, he would only wear his uniforms mainly. He didn't even really buy himself clothes.
Or like during Christmas time or whatever.
Until recently.
Yeah, recently.
So you people are like shopping.
Well, I mean, we do enjoy it because we used to enjoy it because we used to go to like different places. We used to go to like the amusement park. Remember the Kokomos? We used to go. We used to take the kids to little mini amusement parks. We used to do kite flying at home when it was windy. I used to take them to Barnes and Nobles a lot when they were growing up. We used to go to the library quite frequently when they were younger. You used to go to the gym?
As they got older, to like preteens and teens, we used to go. We had a gym membership and the gym was inclusive. It had computer time where they could do their homework, and this was a nice gym that let kids actually work out. And they understood, obesity was important as long as the kids were safe. So we did things like that. I mean, we couldn't really afford to do really expensive things because, raising three, because my oldest daughter, she was already up and out of there, but raising 3 children, so we did family things that were in the budget. We used to go to like movie night. Our city had like an outdoor movie night in the summertime. We used to go to things like that. We went to movies, went to birthday parties, things like that. I mean, now that they're grown up, You know, and it says, how do you guys plan to spend the holidays? Let me move on to that. How do we plan? My plan, I don't know how Mr. T feels about this, but since my kids are up and out of there, other than my oldest son does live with us, but since my kids are adults, I have wanted to like go somewhere warm. I mean, I'm in Bama, but I'm talking about tropical for a Christmas, like some really non-traditional thing for Christmas. Even Disney World or like the Bermudas or
Bahamas, man.
Bahamas.
Yeah.
The Bahamas.
Yeah, you don't want to get trapped in the Bermuda
Not the
Triangle.
Bermudas.
Bermuda
But
Triangle,
some really tropical, upscale-y, just totally, you know, something like that.
Yeah,
that's what
something
I
like
would
that.
like to do.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, and we'll do that someday.
Yeah, that's in the future plans. So Trudy wants to know, do we have a family confession?
Hey, maybe you should explain what a confession is for some people.
Well, a confession is like, I want to say,
Not like a Catholic confession.
no, it's like a what is it like? What you call it? It's like a, you call that thing? Like a
Fulfilling
Yeah.
prophecy.
over yourself, that you speak over yourself.
It's like taking the word of God out of the Bible and using everyday words to bring that forth into your life.
Yeah. What you were saying. See, the communication.
Yeah.
Communication master right here.
Yeah. That's what it is. So do we have one?
We didn't have several, but like we haven't been like consistent with them.
What one that we're consistent with is the one we do at church when we pay our tithes, because it's on a flyer for us every Sunday.
Yeah, that one.
And it's based off of wealth and riches are in my house.
Oh, and also that like our kids are like brought up,
Taught of the
taught
Lord.
of the Lord, and they're like olive branches. No, that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
So with that one, yeah, we do got a
We
family.
do have one because we go every Sunday. At one point, we had like a family motto that when the kids were younger, we had a whole motto that the kids wrote, you know, about themselves and what they wanted to accomplish. And, you know, we would say that sometimes. I mean, you know, we're human. We weren't religious, even though we're talking about confessions. We weren't religious in practice with it. But we've spoken it from our mouth to God's ears, and he still remembers that we spoke them.
Yeah.
Trudy also wants to know, what's your best advice for young couples that are thinking of marriage? That's a deep one. Which one of us is going to go first with that one? I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first.
I'm so careful, first of all, to want to give somebody advice for marriage. You know, I'm not quick to tell somebody they shouldn't marry another person because I don't know what their destiny is with that person. Like, even if that person maybe is not necessarily quote unquote the perfect person. I guess this would be my advice. There is no perfect person. Like when people say, I just haven't found the right one. A lot of times when people say that, what they mean is I haven't found the perfect one. And so what I would say to young people is give up hope now, because there is no perfect one. Because if you think about it, you're not perfect. You're not perfect. So we're all, you know, faulty human beings. You know, so if you let that go and just look at the heart of people, that would be the reason to marry somebody. Not because they're perfect, but because if they love God and they love Jesus, and they love you, that's what I believe has seen me and my husband through all these years. Is we both had a dedication to God above ourselves and each other. So marry somebody who loves God more than they love you.
True. Yeah.
Why are you laughing at me?
It's just the way you say it. I mean, okay, we'll go like this. Like, some advice would be like, let's see. Like, for one, like, let's see. Like you said, a foundation. You both should have, like, the same foundation. You know, foundation in God. And, like, if you're gonna do it, like, take your vows seriously. Because, like, you made a promise in front of God, like, with us, like, when we got married, like, I took my vows, like, seriously, because, like, I made a promise to God, that no matter what, thickness and thin, we're gonna be together, unless, try to kill each other, like, try to murder you, then, okay, don't do it then if you try to kill you. But, on that part, it just, like, that foundation, like, counseling, but not just anybody. You got to make sure you find a good counselor, godly counselor, and that you see, like, and you can see, like, fruit. You can see that they have a good marriage, a good marriage, where you see that he loved God, you love God. So that's the big, to me, that's the biggest thing. And if you're young, like, people gonna tell you that, okay, you too young to be getting married, you should just wait because, you can always find the right person. So, I mean, that's not necessarily true, because, like, we was told that, that we should wait.
Yeah, well, I think you said some people was telling you that.
Yeah, but I took some advice for, like, a different, like, he passed on now, but he told me, like, this: it don't matter what anybody say, because people got their own opinions. If you're gonna get married, if you love this person, you're young, y'all can grow together, and then as y'all grow, be together, you're young, y'all can grow and then work through things, instead of waiting till you older, set
in your ways.
And then if you get married, it don't work out, then in a few months or a year or so, you're divorced. So the biggest thing would be, just chase after God.
And this is advice to young people. This is in no way condemning old people who are a little bit more seasoned who want to get married. This is just the advice for younger people based on the question. That's good advice too, honey. Yeah. All right, we're getting down to the last couple questions, you guys. And we have someone who wants to know, says, y'all been together forever? This is another sex. They didn't say fire. They just flat out came out with the sex question, y'all. Y'all been together forever. Does the sex ever get dull? And if so, what do you do to make it exciting?
Smack her on the booty and pull some hair. That's one good thing right there.
Well, I'm going to leave it at that, y'all. I think Mr. T gave y'all the answer.
There you go.
And don't be a sexually repressed snob. Lady?
And don't get too freaky.
What?
Don't get
You don't want me to be too freaky?
No, I'm saying like hanging on, swinging.
Don't get hurt.
Yeah, don't hurt
This
yourself.
is a non-disclaimer. We did not tell y'all to swing on the ceiling and buy them sex toys. Okay, we didn't tell y'all that. And if y'all get hurt, it was not from the El Raquel channel. Okay.
Yeah. And,
this is my sister, y'all. Just so y'all know, this next question from my sister. And my sister wants to know what?
Does El Raquel has bad breath in the morning?
I do.
I mean, it's normal. People have morning breath, but I mean, it depends on what you eat. Like, some days, it's just like you roll over, and then you just want to fall out of the bed. You know, but I love you, babe.
You love me? Oh, I love you too.
I love you.
All right, you guys, that is the end of our family Q&A. Thank you so much. If you guys have any questions for us, please drop them in the comments. If you want us to do a part 2, throw some questions in there. And thank you so much.
Deuces.